Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube show. We're glad to have you back. Some exciting news today. See if I can get my microphone here. Exciting news today. Ta-da! Our book is out and you can buy it. So here, oops, I just made myself vanish. There we go. All right. It's available or will be available in all formats. So there's a print edition and ebook versions. The Apple Books store link is live. So is the Kobo one. So is the Barnes and Noble one. And more bookstores will be like added on as they go through the system. And then the print books will be taking a little bit longer. Apparently, publishing a book takes longer than you think. But a lot less time than it used to. So we're super excited about this. 41 short stories by some of the best new writers out there today. These are people who submitted and won original fiction in our magazine. So we had hundreds of submissions each cycle. Only a few were accepted. The ones from this year are all in this anthology, plus some of the best reprints that we've published that first year as well. Many of those reprints are not available anywhere. So they were published in print. And if you weren't lucky enough to get a copy of one of those publications when it came out, you can no longer find it anywhere except here on MetaStellar. So all these stories are available on our website for free, thanks to the kind support of our Patreon donors. So thanks, you guys. Thanks to you, we are able to keep the site free for everybody. But if you would like to own a copy of this historic book, you can now get it. So it's $9.99 for the ebook version and $19.95 for the print version. And it has 279 pages. So it's a sizable read. It'll keep you very happy reading this for a long time. The authors will be getting their own copies, and hopefully they'll be doing book signings. So if one of the authors is near you, you might be able to get a signed copy of the book. So exciting, super exciting. If you go to the links below, I've posted a link to the announcement story and also a link to an interview video with Jordy Morse and Marie Leclerc. Jordy is our fiction editor for the original fiction submissions. Marie is our editor for the reprints. Plus we have like dozens of judges who help out with everything. But we couldn't get them all into the video. So we do have Jordy and Marie talking about that whole process of making this anthology. So very excited. I was on the back end, the production side of it, to doing the draft to digital. And we did revenue sharing with our authors. So all the authors are getting paid for this. So definitely do buy a copy. Half of the proceeds go to support original fiction at MetaStellar, and half of it goes towards paying the authors who are in this anthology. So all the money is going to go to the authors. All the editors and judges volunteered their time. So if you want to support new and emerging science fiction authors, this is your chance. So very, very happy about that. Now, the reason we're all here today is for the free books. So every Friday, we look at the top 10 free books on Amazon Science Fiction and Fantasy Shelf. And the books change all the time as authors make their books free as a promotion. So you grab the books that are available today, and tomorrow they might be gone. So act quick. You have your weekend reading all set for you. And we read the first few chapters of each book and tell you what we thought. And today, Alex, our news editor, Amir Lutfi, our reviews editor, and Nick Nebertovsky, one of the members of our community, joined me in doing these reviews, but none of them could make this taping, so it's just me here today. So let's get into it. What's the first book? Here we have it. It is, let me pull up the details, Grounded by Sarah Hualde. The first of 6 books in the Paranormal Penny Mysteries. It's a cozy mystery series with a magical twist, of course. The other books in the series are $1 to $4 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. So Kindle Unlimited, for those who don't know, is one of those all-you-can-eat kind of platforms where you pay $10 a month and you can read all the books you want. The majority of books that are sold on the bestseller lists on Amazon are in Kindle Unlimited, including the Harry Potter books. So Kindle Unlimited is a great value if you read a lot. Both traditional and self-published authors make the books available on this platform. It is an awesome deal if you read more than 2 books a month, which I do. So I'm always on the lookout for Kindle books, for Kindle Unlimited books, which this book is not. So do I like it enough to pay money for the rest of the books in the series? Yes, I do. And I've already bought the first one, well, the second one in the series. So the story is that Penny, she's 18, she lives out of her van. She works in a coffee shop. And at any moment, she's ready to quit a job, pull up everything, and leave town, because she has this weird ability that she can tell when someone's about to die. And this causes her a lot of problems. People think she's crazy. The closer she gets to people, the more this ability shows up. So she tries to avoid close relationships. And it's happening again. So she sees this omen, a black crow that indicates that her boss is going to die. And she tries to save her boss's life. And things start going wrong. But it's not wrong in a scary, dark way, as you can probably guess from the cover. This is a light-hearted, cozy mystery, and I love this story. So as of right now, I am 18 chapters in. That's halfway through the book. And no one's been murdered yet. So this is a slow-paced book. But it's fun. It's pleasant. I love the characters. I like Penny. I like her cat. I like the town she's in. I like the coffee shop. And it's just such a nice, pleasant break from real life. So yeah, I'm going to finish this book over dinner, and I'm going to read the second one this weekend because I can use some cheering up with all the bad news out there right now today. Okay, so let's move on to the next book on today's top 10 list. War Begins by Odette Bell. So Odette's been on this list before, and this is the first of 4 books in the War Begins Galactic Empire science fiction series. So it's a space opera. The other books are $4 each, and the series is not in Kindle Unlimited. So Nick read this one, and he says that the book opens with William, an archaeologist, with his wife and daughter, and they're on a dig site on an alien planet. And they're in a pretty remote kind of place. They're waiting for resupplies. And their daughter is 8 years old, and her parents are a little bit worried that she still has imaginary friends. Then they're attacked by aliens. The colony outpost and the dig site are both swarmed, and the aliens start killing everybody. So William, our protagonist, tries to run away, and something mysterious is keeping him alive, but also threatens to overwhelm him. So Nick says it's an interesting premise, but he wasn't a fan of the writing. He says there were too many adverbs and too many adjectives. And so he didn't like the way that the words were being used in this story. And the dramatic scenes in the middle of the action, he says, were stretched out a little too far. So he didn't like it. But other people who enjoy adventure and space combat might. So check it out. I might check it out. It sounds like the kind of premise that I would like. And I'm no enemy of adjectives and adverbs. I've been known to overuse them a time or two. So yeah, I might give it a shot. All right, next we have a book that's been on this list before, multiple times, Broken Chains by Demelza Carlton. The first of 3 books in a Heart of Stone fantasy series. The other books, the second book is $4 each, and it's not in Kindle Unlimited. So she has had a ton of other books on this list as well. She's got the 26-book romance and medieval fairy tale romance series, and we've reviewed a whole bunch of those books because she was making them free. When they become free, they pop up on the bestseller list. And she's got a whole bunch of other books, all romantic fantasy. So in this book, Amira reviewed this, and she says it's a fast, easy read. All of Demelza Carlton's books are fast, easy reads. So here, the protagonist is a wimpy grad student who doesn't know what to study. And then we see a shift to a mysterious creature that's been buried for years. And the time has come for it to wake up. And then there's a stranger who chases this grad student around, accuses her of theft. She runs, she cries for help, and this mysterious creature hears her cries for help and bursts through the rocks to save her. So that her screams for help were the call that the creature was waiting for. And I'm guessing that the creature is the naked demon guy on the cover. But that's just my guess. Not my kind of book, but it definitely is their kind of book for a lot of people out there. So it could be some very nice weekend reading for you guys. Next, we have Black Spark by Alkaline. Get it? Alkaline? The first of 8 books in the Dark Magic Enforcer Urban Fantasy series. The other books are $4 each, and the series is not in Kindle Unlimited. This is the second week in a row that this book has been on the list. Alex reviewed it, and he didn't like it. So the story takes place in a present-day United Kingdom, where you have wizards, vampires, and other magical creatures. Fast Pound is a wizard with amnesia, and he starts out the book by committing a murder, and he doesn't know why. And then he's stumbling around town trying to figure out what's going on and why he's suffering from memory loss. So Alex says that he read the first few chapters and it didn't interest him. But having read his review, I started reading the book, and it definitely interested me. It reminded me a lot of the Dresden Files, which I love. So this is my kind of book, and I'm going to be sticking with it. Next, we have The Lost Siren by Ravenstorm, and I read the beginning of this book. So this is the first of 5 books in the Rise of the Drakons paranormal reverse harem romance series. The other books are $4 to $5 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. The 5th book is scheduled to be released in October and is now available for pre-order. And we reviewed this book like twice already. So a disclaimer, I'm not a fan of romance, as you can probably tell. And I'm definitely not a fan of reverse harem romance. So reverse harem is when a woman has multiple boyfriends, which to me sounds like so much work and so much drama and the logistics of managing multiple guys and all their egos. Not for me, but I can see why some people might have this as a romantic fantasy. So here the story is that Ren is a slave of Lord Krulfed, a vampire. So there's another strike right there. I don't like books that have slavery as kind of a plot point, especially not romantic books. It just creeps me out. I have a hard time where slavery and romance are kind of like near each other. It just feels icky. But for a lot of people, it's their thing. So, I'm not gonna judge. So anyway, so she's a slave, and she's getting older, so she's about to be sold off into, you know, to some other owner now that she's getting old enough to be, exploited. Um, until this mysterious guy shows up, obviously a handsome guy. He's not a vampire, he's not human, we don't know what he is. And he tells her that if she wants to, she can come with him. And she doesn't say no, so he takes her away and he can fly. So it's a readable story, but it's far from my thing. But if it's your thing, it's free. All right, next we have Crocs Returned by Eve Langlais, another story which has been on this list for 2 weeks in a row. It's the first of 4 books in the Bitten Point paranormal romance series. The other books are $4 each, and they are not in Kindle Unlimited. And we've also reviewed other books by the same author before. And so, again, I'm not a fan of romance. I'm no longer a fan of shapeshifters. I used to be. I thought it was cool, but I'm all shapeshifted out. I don't like books with naked male chests on the cover. I'm like, aren't you cold? And oh my God, that guy spends a lot of time waxing. It just gets in the way. But the crocodile is new. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's give it a shot. So the book starts out with Caleb's point of view. And he was in the military, and he's coming back home to Florida, where he's been sending money home to his mother while he's been serving. So he's a good son. Um, and he's got a little tenuous relationship with his brother, who picks him up. But thanks to Caleb's support, his brother was able to go to college. His mom fixed up her house. So they should be a lot more welcoming than they are. Meanwhile, um, his former flame, the woman he left behind, just dumped in a letter and left to join the army. Her name is Rennie. She's still around. She's a single mom, and her kid is Caleb's son. And he probably doesn't even know that he has a kid because she sent him letters, but he never responded. Maybe he didn't get them because he sounds like a good guy otherwise. So I'm guessing that they're going to resolve their problems after a little bit of complication and get together in the end. So sorry, didn't mean to spoil the story for you, but it's a happily ever after romance, so you kind of know what you're going to get. So it's very readable. We're talking bag of potato chips kind of book. You just can't eat one. You just keep gobbling them down. Not my kind of thing, but yeah, I had trouble putting it down when I had to finish my review and go on to the next book. It kind of sucks you in. I want to know how that whole thing with the kid's gonna work out. Meanwhile, back on to the next book, The Librarian and the Orc by Finley Fenn. The third book of the 7-book Orc Sworn paranormal romance series. The other books are $3 to $6 each, and they are in Kindle Unlimited. So Amira read this one, and she says that the book takes place in a secondary medieval world, so not our history, but like a fantasy kind of world. Rosa works in a library for a really awful nobleman. He's super handsome, but he looks down on her. but he makes out with her whenever he feels like it, and she loves it. And then one day he brings another girlfriend in to tour the library. And his new girlfriend can't believe that Rosa is working there. Turns out that in this world, women aren't allowed to go to school or have jobs. And when this evil guy's girlfriend leaves, he approaches Rosa, asks her for a favor. He wants her to research a way to start a peasant mob attack against orcs, because the humans and orcs have recently reached a truce, and he wants to wipe the orcs out. So she feels a little bad about destroying the orcs, but hey, why not? So Rosa isn't that great a character either. And then after she agrees to this evil plan, she does a few other inappropriate things with this noble guy. So Amira wasn't feeling pretty sympathetic to this character. And then an orc shows up in the library. According to that treaty, they're allowed to go into human areas if they follow human laws. And she wants to kick this orc out because she's anti-orc. So she doesn't really. So Amira doesn't really like any of this stuff, but it's inspiring some curiosity, and she says she might be back to see how it all works out and whether this evil scheme actually pans out. Okay, next we have Of Beast and Beauty by Chanda Hahn, the first of 7 books in the Daughters of Evil romantic fantasy series. The other books are $5 to $6 each, and they are not in Kindle Unlimited. This is the second time this book has been on this list. We previously reviewed it last December. So I'm the one who read it. So this is one of those retelling of a classic fairy tale books. The author has been on the New York Times and USA Today bestseller lists. So you know you're going to get some high quality writing. But it's not my kind of high quality writing. I'm just saying in theory, people like it. So the story is that Rosalie is one of Lady Evil's adopted daughters. And evil is spelled Eville, so it's like fancy-ish, evil. So she's one of her adopted daughters, and her adopted mother was scorned by her true love and wants revenge on the 7 kingdoms. So she adopted 7 daughters and raised each one of them to be a weapon, tools in her revenge. So Rosalie's job is to enter into a loveless and hate-filled marriage with a narcissistic crown prince of Based. And that's Prince Xander. She's never seen him before. She meets him at the altar. He was supposed to marry someone else, someone richer and fancier and prettier. So he's a little pissed about having to marry Rosalie instead. And immediately after the ceremony, he ditches her. And so she doesn't even get to enjoy the party. Instead, she sneaks around, she steals some food. And so she does have magic powers, so apparently she's planning to like kill him after she marries him or something. But she doesn't want to like face people face to face. So I don't know. If I was her, I'd totally be like living it up at this party. I mean, I'm a powerful witch, powerful enough to force the prince to marry me, so why not, right? But yeah, each one to his own. So she's sneaking around, and she was wearing a veil during the ceremony, so the prince doesn't know what she looks like. And she didn't even look at him while she was marrying him, so she doesn't know what he looks like. And they bump into each other while she's skulking around, and they flirt. And he doesn't realize that she's the witch who's going to murder him in his sleep that night. And he thinks that the witch is some old hag. not Rosalie, who's young and pretty. And so what's gonna happen? It's a pretty strong premise, right? It sounds like it'd be fun romantic read for somebody, but that somebody isn't me. Also, if they made a movie out of it, I'd probably watch it. All right. All right. Next book, Z2134 by Platt and David Wright. It's a standalone dystopian book of post-apocalyptic science fiction with zombies in it. The book is normally $1 and is not in Kindle Unlimited. So if you like this kind of thing, pick it up now. Platt has had other books on this list. Pattern Black, co-authored with Johnny B. Truant, was on this list twice. And we also reviewed Burnout, another book he co-authored with Johnny B. Truant in April. So I'm not a fan of dystopian books. I'm not a fan of zombies. As far as I'm concerned, we're already living in a dystopian zombie future, horrible nightmare escape of a life right now, or with climate change. So I don't want to read about it. In my escapist reading, I want to get into something light and fluffy or far off space battles, something that's not too close to real life. So just letting you know, I am not the target audience for this book. Plus, zombies creep me out. So you got that too. So the story is that Jonah is looking out of a tunnel at a bunch of zombies. He's got a gun with only one bullet left, and the zombies are swarming up ahead of him. And he's got a machete, so he can go back into the tunnel and back to the last exit, which was like a mile back, or he can fight his way out through the zombies. And he has to do the fighting because he's in a Hunger Games kind of game. Although it's called the Darwin Games. 12 players started out, 10 of them are dead. Now it's just him and one other guy, and whoever makes it to the end becomes free because they're prisoners. So this is a nightmarish world where the government controls everything and the police state is really heavy-handed, and everyone works horrible, miserable jobs, and their only entertainment is to watch these kinds of games. So gross and unpleasant. But I did love Hunger Games, so I'm also inconsistent. Okay, so the thing is, the other prisoners have a grudge against Jonah because he used to work for the police before he killed his wife, or allegedly killed his wife. And everyone else is a convicted murderer or other kind of prisoner. So very fast-paced story. The first chapter starts out with a lot of fighting. It moves very well, very fast. I was on the edge of my seat. And then it switches, in the next chapter, it switches to one of his kids, his daughter Anastasia. She's just about to turn 18. She's watching this battle on TV with her best friend. And it's just like, and we get to see the world from her point of view, where she's overworked, the police are everywhere, and they're abusing their powers right and left. And her father may or may not have been part of an underground resistance movement. So very exciting. The action totally sucks you in. And if it wasn't for the fact that it's a grim dystopia, I might read this. And maybe I might come back to it once this whole, nightmare of a world kind of has ended and we're back to normal someday. So yeah, definitely very, very fun book. And if you still like dystopias despite everything else, and a lot of people do, pick it up. Then we have The Mermaid Next Door by H.P. Mallory and J.R. Rain. The first of 3 books in the Midlife Mermaids paranormal romance series. The other books are $1 each and are in Kindle Unlimited. So Mallory's been on this list before. We reviewed her book Fire, Burn, and Cauldron Bubble, the first of 24 books in the Underworld series, in August of last year. And I've read J.R. Wing's other books, and I like them. Although I don't think we reviewed any for this particular column. So I like mermaids, especially on a hot day. It feels very pleasant to be reading about somebody swimming underwater. I wish I could be. But I might take a cold shower later on. Anyway, moving on. So the protagonist is 40 years old. She's a widow. Her husband just died. Another merman. She's had 2 miscarriages. She doesn't have any kids. And because of that, her husband married other women. And she's best friends with one of her other wives. But now that he's dead, her former husband's brother is going to basically take her over, force her to marry him because he's the king of this underworld city. She hates him. He's like a total jerk. He's already forced her best friend to marry him. He's got 7 wives. And it just sounds like an awful misogynistic society where women are worthless, if they can't have babies, and the men control everything, and the women aren't allowed to like work or do anything. And she can't go anywhere else because they'll just, if she goes to another city, they'll just send her back to be with him because he's the king. So she's going to escape to land because when she leaves the water, she gets her legs, and she has magical powers. Her siren song can make men and women do whatever she wants them to. Plus, she's got a backpack full of jewels and stuff from a sunken treasure ship. So it's a fun premise. It's very, very readable. I had a hard time putting this book down, even though I'm not a romance reader. I might finish it. It just seems like a light, fluffy thing to read over the weekend, even if it doesn't have any space battles in it. I can live with that. So there you go. Have you read any of these books? Do you plan to? Let us know in the comments below. And please do support our channel. You can like, subscribe, or hit the notification bell. You can support us on Patreon so we can publish more original science fiction and fantasy. And you can pick up a copy of this book. Yes, all the links are down in the description box below. Thank you everybody for joining me. We'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.